Joining us on the podcast for the 24th edition of Press Row, a particularly important number, as it is my favorite, is a returning champion to this podcast. Of course, someone you all know best as the head coach of the Michigan women's tennis team, someone I know best as Aunt Ronnie. Welcome back onto the show, Michigan head tennis coach Ronnie Bernstein. Ronnie, it's always good to see you. Welcome back to the program. How are you and the Wolverines feeling as you get ready for the Sweet 16?
We're great, Alex. Really good to be here talking to you. It's better talking to you than being in the Sweet 16 than not being on the show. So excited to be here.
As I told another coach, I think I've strategically planned to make it so that all of you have a positive connotation of this conversation because it means you're still alive. And so it's just a little mental trick I'm playing on all of you, and so far so good. But yeah, let's get right to it. If I would have come to you on January 1st, which would have been very likely, and said, Aunt Ronnie, I think you're going to be 25-4. I think you're going to be the number 3 overall seed at this year's NCAA tournament. What would you have said to me?
Yeah, I would say maybe you're crazy. I didn't know. To be honest, every year you need kids to step up, and this year was one of those for sure. We lost 3 starters from our team last year. We had a great year last year, and you need people to step up and come in, ready to go. We had a very good fall. We had, several kids make it to the NCAA tournament, but we needed people to step up, and we've had that. We've had, Piper and Lily playing much higher in our lineup this year, and obviously Julia Fliegner, what a great year she's had. So I scheduled tough. I challenged the girls, and man, have they played hard for each other and competed incredibly hard all year.
Yeah, so impressive again. 25-4. There are going to be some flashy numbers, and I want to get to all of them. Um, I always put a smile whenever I say her name. I do want to ask about Julia because certainly she has been successful throughout her time at Michigan, but to have the fall she had, reaching the NCAA singles semifinals, and to be this consistent at the number 1 spot, 15-2 as we approach the Sweet 16. Did you see this sort of jump coming in her final season on the job? Why do you think it's been able to happen?
Yeah, if you look at her throughout her career, I mean, she's had jumps every year, and I think she's even surprised herself this year. A lot of tennis is belief in yourself. And I think every year, when she came in the door at Michigan, she played number 5 for us. And I don't know what her record was, but it wasn't 15-2 or whatever you said. She lost some really tough matches for us, some deciders, and there's not a kid. I don't think in the country that works as hard as her, like at everything she does. The determination in that kid is incredible. So every year she's made a jump. I am not surprised. She just, whatever she does, I mean, she just won this major award at Michigan, like the best, Big Ten Medal of Honor for all of Michigan. It doesn't matter what she does, whether it's tennis, she's going to go on to law school, whatever she does. She just is determined and just really gets to a high level in everything she does.
No, it's been such an impressive season, and certainly she has set a tone up top as the lone senior in the singles lineup. And again, she's not the only one. Everyone has had to step into a larger role here this season. And starting with the returners to the singles lineup, Piper, Lily, again, impressive numbers for each of them. I think for Piper it's 20-3, which it's another ridiculous season. For Lily, 14-8. What a lot were they really? Again, you said you had some questions to start the year. You saw it in the fall. Were you as confident heading into the spring?
Yeah, you don't. I mean, my schedule was crazy, my non-conference. We started with the kickoff. We went to Virginia on the road right away, indoors. I mean, you could look at it and you can say, are we going to win any of these matches? We needed Lily and Piper have been playing 2 and 3 for us. They were 5 and 6 last year. So that's a big jump in the lineup. And then you have Reese Miller that didn't get to play last year. And she's been a big part of, our lineup this year and had to step up. And we have 2 freshmen in there. So really young, not that experienced. So you just don't know how they're going to react. And there were no easy matches. There's no gimmies to get used to college tennis. I mean, we put them right in the thick of things to begin. And yeah, I mean, it's a credit to our team, and how hard they work and the belief they have in each other. And it's sort of an expectation, they want to keep it going for us, and super proud of, just the fight and everything they've done.
Well, you keep alluding to the schedule, so just for listeners who aren't as familiar, at Charlottesville, Florida in Ann Arbor, National Indoors, and then the Stroke of Genius. The next weekend, NC State, Duke on the road,
Was
which
that
is
genius by
I,
who? That wasn't genius by me.
sometimes genius can be a little crazy. I like it.
Yeah.
25 and
Yeah.
4, number 3 seed. Scholars would argue not a bad choice. Oklahoma State, of course, on there as well. You also had the first year of West Coast travel. You guys went out to LA for USC, UCLA, went to the Ojai for the Big Ten Conference Championship. You've alluded to it, but how was it? The journey, all the time together. How was all the traveling?
Yeah, I think there's certain points where I realize we're pretty good. I think going on the road to Charlottesville that early and knocking them off. I mean, they're one of the best teams in the country for sure. I mean, they do a great job with their group. The indoors, how we rebounded after that loss to Oklahoma, like that was, you don't know what's going to happen after that, right? We lost a tough one. We had a match point in that match. And then we played Texas, who we play this weekend the next day, and just really good effort by our group because we could have gone away that next day. You get so down after a loss like that, and it's so emotional, and just how tough we were that next day. So the LA trip again, we're not outside that much, obviously, in January, February in Michigan, and then you have to go play USC, UCLA on the road, and get outside. So I've put them in really tough situations. And, the North Carolina trip, again, right after indoors, very tough. We lost two, really difficult matches on the road, and we came back and played Oklahoma State, played a great match the next week. So we just rebound. I feel like we're tough, we're gritty. Yeah, and they've persevered through my schedule. So
Yeah, again, a job well done. 47 and 21 overall in double sets this year in dual match play. I think I can say that's a step forward. Like, this team is better in doubles than it has been the past couple of seasons when obviously each of those groups were able to make quarterfinals the last 2 years. Has it been a bigger emphasis in practice this year? Have teams just clicked? What's worked?
yeah, we've worked on it. I mean, we always have worked on it. I feel like we've found the right teams. We started off a little, maybe at like 500 in doubles, but you're playing the best teams right through indoors. We lost a couple tough ones at indoors. We've been on a little bit of a roll. I'm knocking on wood here, but we have worked on it. I mean, Jessica Bernalis is a great doubles player. I mean, she's helped us a lot at the top. Whoever she's played with, I mean, she's done a great job for us. Emily Sartland, some of the younger kids. But we have worked on it. So when you practice it, hopefully it's getting better. And I'm glad you noticed.
I love watching Jess and Lily together. It's a science fair project. Like, they both do so many different things on the court, and what's it like working with them in practice? I guess without giving away all the trade secrets, what's the focus? Because it is a lot of skills on one court.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can be too skilled and you
Sure.
you get too cute on the court. So it's just being disciplined, right? I think that's really important in doubles. You could have the flash and do all these great shots, but you have to be disciplined. You have to make the right decisions. I mean, there's certain things in doubles that are important. But I feel like they're doing that well. They complement each other. Jess is good up at the net and has good hands, and Lily with the ground strokes and kind of setting her up. So yeah, I mean, they've clicked, everywhere. Julia and Reese have done a great job in the lineup for us. They've been the pretty steady team. We didn't really split them up. And then we have Piper and Emily down there also, doing well. So we're confident in that point. We're also confident if we don't win that point, we don't get too high or too low with that. We feel like we can win everywhere, which is, I mean, a sign of a good team.
Does Reese know she's allowed to play under 2.5 hours?
Yeah. Yeah, I would prefer them playing under 2.5 hours, take it easier on the old coach. But I feel like she's getting off the court a little quicker than some of them lately. So she's been pretty good and pretty super solid against ASU. She played a great match and got off the court for us. So yeah, I think she prefers not being the last person out there. She had a couple but she's clinched some big matches for us as well this year. So she's been a massive part of our success.
No, it's been the cool part as well is seeing everyone thrown into the mix, whether it's her or Julia against Ohio State at home. I can point to everyone because there's been a different moment for each player. And yeah, I mean, obviously, so much success during the regular season. You're able to run through another Big Ten season undefeated. To have what happened in the Big Ten tournament final and just the heartbreak of a moment like that, what's the message to your team after that group? How did it help them rebound in preparation for this NCAA run?
I ripped them. No, I'm just kidding. I, you know, we had that was a really tough match. And we competed as hard as we could. And Ohio State played great at the top four spots. It was a tough environment. It was a tough place. But yeah, I told them that maybe this can help us. It can take a little pressure off. We had won a lot of matches in a row. And we had a great year. And postseason starts now, right? We're looking forward to the NCAA tournament. So sometimes the loss can actually help you. And that was the message. We can't take this too hard, right? I mean, we're upset, very disappointed after that match. Ohio State played better than us that day. And we moved on, happy with how we rebounded. I mean, we had a rough week, to be honest. I mean, they were very, very disappointed. But I think, we took care of business, in the first two rounds against Youngstown State and Arizona State. So I was happy to see that. And I feel like we're in a good place. Like that's in the rear view mirror and we're moving on.
How was the Ojai more broadly, that West Coast experience, the history of it all?
Yeah, I actually played there about 85 years ago. So apparently my picture is up there.
Did they find it?
Well, I don't think they found it, thank goodness. Maybe they didn't recognize me. I probably look a little different than I used to,
They
but
too didn't know the maiden name?
they did not. I would think my nephew would, but you didn't know it either. So yeah, so it's a beautiful town. I mean, the people, there's so many volunteers. They made it really nice for the kids. I don't know if I want to go back there anytime soon with how that match went, but as far as just the people and the town, it was fantastic. I mean, the community gets behind it. There's a lot of special events. We definitely had fans. I don't know if they were for us though, but the fans were in the stands. The court setup's a little weird. You have 5 and 6 down below. It's a little bit of a walk. But as far as, we got 3 great days outside. So that's always good. You don't always have that in the Big Ten tournament. So, overall, I think a positive experience.
Yeah. A very niche question. How often does a Michigan team practice under the lights outdoors? Like this is one of my lifetime regrets is I was not ready for our club tennis final because I'm going to equate things here because we played under the lights and I have played under lights maybe twice in my life as a lifetime Michigander. Like, is that something you have tried to replicate in preparation just in case?
Yes, so we did not. So
Yeah,
that's a really good question. As we start at 5 p.m. So we
yeah,
started later that day and we went into the lights. That would be something that I wouldn't want to do again. I feel like we could have played that earlier. So that was tough with the lights and but it was tough for both teams.
yeah,
It's
of
not,
course.
I mean, I don't think they did either. Like we have not played under the lights. We don't have lights at Michigan, so we don't play in the evenings. So that was tough, but I think tough for both teams.
Yeah, we are sane people. We just go indoors. We're like, when there's lights
Exactly.
indoors, let's play inside at night.
It's nice and warm in the VTC. Nice
Oh,
and warm going
open
there.
till midnight, as I learned.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
certainly you can get your court time in, and yeah, I mean, certainly again to have that experience now, and I'm sure you learned a lot from that match. If there was one match in particular you would point to where you say you learned the most about this group this season, which would you pick and why?
Yeah, I mean, I think I alluded to it earlier, but there were a couple. I would think when, at indoors after the Oklahoma match. We got a good win against LSU, and then that was a heartbreaking loss to Oklahoma, and you just don't know how a young team's going to react. The third day of indoors, we're knocked out. We're playing a great Texas team. We lost the doubles point. I mean, we looked like we were just gonna. I think we had match points in the doubles and lost 7-6. I was on the court, so I kind of remember this well. Probably my fault, but You don't know how young teams are going to react and just how we rebounded in singles. I'm like, we're pretty tough. We're going to be okay. And then we went to North Carolina the next weekend, and I didn't, you change your mind. But I think that one was probably where I thought, okay, we can, you're going to take some lumps, right? I mean, there's no team that's going undefeated. I mean, you see that this year. Um, so just to be able to rebound and show that toughness, I think that match would be the one.
No, it was obviously so impressive, and obviously a big matchup with Texas coming up here this weekend as well that I do want to ask you about. But I should have asked earlier, forever for your tenure at Michigan, it was you and Taryn at your side. And this year, it's a new coaching duo in Ty and Jan. What's it been like just to have a new staff to kick ideas around with, and how well have they acclimated themselves to just all things Michigan tennis?
Yeah, it's different. For sure. I miss Taryn, the day to day. She's a very good friend of mine. Still lives, I mean, she lives within a mile. You know how Ann Arbor is with small little town. So I still see her a lot, but I think sometimes a little bit of change can be good. After 18 years I was with Taryn for 17 years, we start talking alike, thinking alike, saying the same things to the girls. So I feel like there's definitely different voices out there. So I think that's good. I they don't have to agree with me. I think hearing different things and it helps me too, like a different perspective, different way of looking at the court, different drills, different way to do things. So I'm open to that. Sometimes we get set in our ways. So I think that has been good, but they're great. The girls have really enjoyed it. It's been pretty seamless as far as our practices and I feel like the girls are very comfortable with them.
How have they compared card skills wise to Taryn? Because Taryn was sharp. Like Taryn would go for the throat.
Yeah, we haven't played cards. We'll have to get if we run into you at some point, we'll bring the cards out. But yeah, Taryn is a big euchre fan. So you saw that in the airport that one time. She's also getting into some pickleball. She gets me out there. So we're
Really?
doing a little bit of pickleball on days off. Yeah. So
There's no way
that
you are
might
not
be
very good at pickleball.
I that might be my I might come back as a pro pickleball player when I retire from this. I'm not good. So I'll tell you what my pickleball story is. I tore my hamstring playing pickleball like 4 years ago.
Uh,
So bending is difficult for me. So I have like a little PTSD from pickleball, but I do get out there occasionally. Um, but yeah, so Taryn is heavy into pickleball at the moment.
so if Kate Fahey calls you tomorrow and says, "Coach, we have a pro am. Are you ready to suit up?" Is it an immediate no, or is it like a like let me stretch in the morning and call you back?
It's probably a no, but she was in town about 3 weeks ago
Okay.
for a fundraiser, and it was around pickleball. And she came and stayed with me, and we did play a few points.
Yeah.
So, but it was doubles, and I think she was my partner. But yeah, she's crazy good, and also Brooke Bolander is playing some pickleball. So, I apparently create very good pickleball players here at Michigan.
I like to hear that. I saw this is so silly, but there was a
Yeah.
Twitter exchange of a some sort of pickleball related beef going on court, and standing in the background of said beef was just Kate Fahey, and I was like, oh, but wait, what? Like, I was unaware that she was in the pickleball game, and I was like, I'm 100% sure that's her. 'Cause I don't think she's a couple years younger than me at Michigan. And I was like, that she's playing professionally.
She's very good. I mean,
Yeah.
making a lot of money. Was she in the middle of it, like doing something? Like
No,
causing the beef?
I too was very disappointed to say she was a bystander. I was like,
Okay.
"Oh, this is
Okay.
such a disappointment." But yeah, I was like, "Oh, Kay Fahey sighting." Not wasn't
Yeah.
on my
No,
bingo card.
no, they're doing well. I mean, she's traveling all over and it was good to see her. But yeah, she hurt her wrist. So
Okay.
she tried to play tennis, after she left Michigan and then kind of went into the real world and got a job and then picked up pickleball and is crushing it. So
No, she's doing great. And I know I think I've asked you about this in the past, but Amina just surging the way that she has. And by the way, seeing Evan too, who obviously you were coaching the women's team when he was there, he's now top 100 in the world for the first time in his career in doubles. You keep an eye on them still, those pro results in contact?
Yeah, I've seen Evan a little bit. I saw his, that he's up, I think he's like 18 in the world or something like
Something
that, really
crazy
high in
like that.
doubles. Super happy for him. He's a great guy. Yeah, me and I talked to a lot. I mean, I was texting with her earlier. She's traveling and doing well and very close with her. So yes, I keep in touch with her.
Yeah, no, it's been so impressive to see. To scroll back the clock one more time, if you could tell your January 1st self, hey, let's allocate more time in practice for this thing specifically, on the court, off the court, could be anything. What might you choose with this group?
Wow. What we would do. Well, I mean, we pretty much cover everything. Let's see. Well, this morning we did some individuals. We brought some girls out early and Piper and Emily were working on their tweener. Does that count? It
Hey,
was
I
terrible.
had one coach come in and say we should have played more beach volleyball because we had a lot of fun doing it as a team activity. So I'm open to anything.
We had some, yeah, there were, for some reason at the beginning of this, as they were warming up, we were working on tweeners and they are awful at it. So maybe I need to add that. I hope to not see any tweeners from either of them this Saturday.
That's good.
Yeah, I think like for us at Michigan, I mean, we're changing, we're kind of doing what we think we need every week. I can't look back and say, oh, we should have done more of this. When doubles isn't working, we're gonna work on it. Kind of tailor it to what everybody needs. So, I'm pretty comfortable with what we did this year and, no regrets as far as not working on something.
It's a very good answer in that same practice vein. I always got to poke the bear once whenever I have you on the show. Some scholars are questioning your
Oh,
philosophy towards music in practice.
uh,
And I would just love to hear your thoughts expanded for everyone here on this show.
so I wonder where you got that from, little birdie. So I don't love it, but I have become more open to it.
Okay.
And it's funny because certain people ask me, like they'll be like, okay, you ask, like you're on her goods, if you won probably the day before, that's the person to ask Ronnie. But yeah, I'm a little more open to it.
Okay.
So I think whichever birdie told you that, ask them because we have had it out a little bit more. But I don't love it.
No, let the
So,
record show it comes back to at the indoors. There was the option
okay.
of do we play music because you guys had a joint warm up session or not, and it was tasked upon me to ask you, hey, ask Roddy if she wants music, and I asked a player like, can I ask her, and they laughed and they're like, yeah, you should ask her, and then we did play music on that day. Let the record show you were open to it, but they said you should ask her.
And what did I say to you? I was like, yeah, if the other team would like it, we can,
You,
right?
you,
Something like that.
you are always gracious, always. That's always going to be
Right.
associated with head coach Ronnie Bernstein. But if there is music, are you picking the tunes?
No, they pick. I have no say. They pick it. But yeah, I don't love it though, but I let it happen at times.
It's because for a decade, the tunes you were subjected to in practice was whatever's going on with Steiny's side over on the men's thing. So I think you're just like, it's a little different. Like it's then you're like, finally, I can think.
Yeah, so we had Steiny with all his, energy and then the music, it was a lot. So I need, one thing at a time.
Hey, three straight round of 16s, whatever. It might be more than that. Whatever's working is working. And so a credit to you all certainly. And obviously this week I know you're focused on all things round of 16 and 2025. It is also the week the portal opens. I'm curious if your thinking has changed at all to where the portal fits in roster construction.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't heavily been with any transfers. I think I've had one since I've been at Michigan. It's not typical that we have a scholarship open this late. But I am in the transfer portal now. We do have a spot with those roster moves. So we are looking for a good fit for our program. And yes, we have been looking at it, but it's not something that I've done in the past.
Yeah, no, it's. I feel like it's almost by. I mean, yeah, you are someone who's always been a 4 year sort of person. Like I, right? It's been. I'm trying to think. It was what last year was the first time.
That I took what, a transfer?
Yeah,
I don't, who did we take?
with
I'm trying to
Ross.
think. Oh, Anna Ross. Yes, she came in as a grad. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess
Yes, so Anna
undergrad's
came
a
in.
different. I can't even remember an undergrad one.
Yeah, I mean, we've had Julia Peroni came
Oh, yeah,
years ago from Arkansas, so she was 2 years. Was she at school when you were
I
in
think so.
school?
I believe so. I think
Okay.
there was a little overlap.
So that's like our loan, I mean, transfer as far as like, in the portal. I mean, the portal's different now too because it's so late. You used to know if someone was coming in, and then our admissions is at Michigan's tough to do it this late. So, but we are looking. So if you have a friend, Alex, that wants to come to Michigan, let me know.
I remain impartial. I think every
Yeah.
school is a fantastic option for every student. I think Ann Arbor's wonderful, but there are a lot of wonderful places. I know you were focused again on your match, but I'm going to ask you to put on the pundit hat for a second. A lot of fantastic round of 16 matchups, of course, happening across the country. If there was one match you could take the time to just lock into, which would you pick and why? Besides your own.
Yeah, I'm going to be locked into that one. But that's Saturday. I think most of them are Friday, right?
Yeah, I think it's 6 on Friday.
So I mean, I'll go with my Big Ten girls. I'll go with Stella and Melissa. So UCLA, I think, has A&M. Do they
They
have
do.
A&M? Yeah. So UCLA, I'll be watching that, and Ohio State, LSU. I watch those too, I would think. I'm going to follow all of them, though. I think there's great matches. Super interested with all of them. We are practicing Friday afternoon, so after that, I will open up and relax a little bit before we play on Saturday.
I like that. Company woman, sticking with the conference. Definitely, it'll help at the next meeting. But yeah, there are so many good matchups across the board, and it's going to be a very, very fun weekend, of course. That brings me to your matchup. You guys are hosting Texas, of course. Good weather report. Plan is outdoors.
Almost 80 degrees.
Oh my,
Beautiful.
80 degree.
Sunny and high. I watched the weather here. I think high is 79
Okay,
and sunny. And we're at 1 o'clock on Saturday. So
that's
drive up.
it's not as now I'm in Atlanta, by the way. Life
Okay.
update. I forgot if I told you. Um, but slightly further drive. I'm not saying impossible. Slightly further drive.
Right.
Um, it again unbiased. Springtime in Ann Arbor. Maybe others are as good. No place is better. So yeah, that's a fun place to be certainly that afternoon. And you got to see them earlier in the season. Something I want to hear from every coach. Tell me what you view as their biggest strength and what it's going to take for the Wolverines to advance to the final site.
Yeah, I mean, I think their biggest strength is they have no weakness anywhere, right? I think they're a fantastic team, play good doubles. They've beaten some, I think they have a win over Georgia. I mean, they've beaten one of the best teams in the country. I mean, they're good everywhere, right? I think that we're going to have to play at a high level. Tons of respect for them. It's not going to be easy, right? I think when you see the draw and you see them, but you can't expect the round of 16 to be easy against anybody. You're going to play one of the better teams in the country that doesn't really have holes, right? You can't say, oh, we can maybe get this at a weak spot at three. I mean, they're good everywhere. And I'd like to think we are really good at all spots too. So our girls are super excited to be at home. Hopefully, those Ann Arbor people, we're going to have a beautiful day and they come out and cheer for us, and we have the crowd behind us. I will say we played Texas a couple years ago, I think in the first two rounds, which was crazy draw because I think we were ranked 17 and they were three. But we went for the first two rounds. It was about 100 degrees. And our girls melted and almost died there. And we had EMTs. And so looking forward to a little better weather in Ann Arbor, and just excited to host it. Super excited for our team, and hopefully we can play well and get it done on Saturday.
Yeah, no, it's of course I remember that match very, very well. And yeah, it's I guess because I think that was Julia's freshman year, if memory is serving me correctly. I think that was 2022.
I think they won that year. I
I
actually
think they
think
won that year as
Texas
well.
won the NCAAs. Yeah, Julia, we played Oregon the first round there, and Julia went full body cramps after the match and needed IVs. And then the next day, Jaden Brown was like going like, I don't know, losing consciousness on the court. I mean, it was so hot. I mean, it must have been 100 degrees. And we played at 3 p.m. So
That's good.
Maybe I need the weather to be like snow and like 20-mile-an-hour winds on Saturday, but no, we're excited. I mean, we've been out so much. I mean, outdoor tennis to us is, I feel like actually this team is probably the best we've ever been, as far as acclimated to it. I mean, we've been out so much. So just looking forward to it. I mean, they're a great team, tons of respect, and it's going to be who handles it better, right? The pressure moments and the big points. And yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
no, I'm very much looking forward to it. Obviously, it's one we have on our Crack Rackets YouTube channel as part of our broadcast. Probably smart that it's not on mine, so I can focus on everything else happening in the day. But obviously, looking forward to the battle and always look forward to the chance to speak with you, head coach for the Michigan women's tennis team, Coach Ronnie Bernstein. Thank you, Aunt Ronnie, for taking the time to chat. Obviously, good luck to you and the team this weekend as well, and always a pleasure having you on the show.
All right, Alex, thank you so much.